Questions orales. L'honorable.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. After 9 years of this Prime Minister, he's not worth the cost of mortgages. 76% of mortgages will go up over the next 3 years, according to the federal office that keeps an eye on banking in Canada. That's after the Prime Minister promised that interest rates would stay low for Canadians. All this while the Bloc is voting in favor of $500 billion of bureaucratic inflationist centralizing spending, which increases interest rates. When will the Prime Minister cut waste and lower interest rates? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives don't really care about Canadians who are having a hard time paying their mortgages. And we know this because the Conservatives have refused to support our Canadian Charter for Mortgages, which is really something that will help Canadians. They oppose 30-year mortgages for first-time homebuyers. The only things that Canadians are in favor of is cut, cut, cut. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Cutting taxes, absolutely, Mr. Speaker. According to the Journal de Montréal, Quebec's taxpayers are being bled dry. Obviously, it's not a surprise to see that 75% of respondents to a Léger poll said that they're not getting their money's worth. The Liberal Bloc, meanwhile, wants to increase taxes. So why not at least accept my common sense plan to suspend gas taxes for the summer? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, the reality is that the Conservatives don't have a plan. The only thing that the Conservatives understand is austerity. The only thing that they can do is cut, and cut some more. They want to cut our plan, our dental care plan, which is very popular in Quebec. They want to cut our school food program. Once again, a very popular program in Quebec. And obviously, they're not going to support our plan for young children. Very important for Quebecers as well.
You're the opposition.
After 9 years, this Prime Minister, this NDP Liberal Prime Minister, is not worth the cost of mortgages, 76% of which will become more expensive over the next 3 years, according to the federal banking regulator, OSFI. This after the Prime Minister said rates would stay low for long. But we know that his massive government deficits have driven rates up 2 percentage points higher than they otherwise would be, according to Scotiabank. So will he accept my common sense dollar-for-dollar plan to cap spending and cut waste to bring down interest rates so Canadians keep their homes?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we know the truth. The Conservatives don't actually care about Canadians who are struggling to pay their mortgages. And we know that because when we put forward something very concrete to support those Canadians, the strengthened Canadian Mortgage Charter, they refused to support it. When we put forward a plan to help first-time home buyers with 30-year mortgage amortizations, the Conservatives voted against it. The fact is, the only thing these Conservatives know how to do is cut, 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 and the only Canadians they care about are themselves.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we have voted against everything this Prime Minister has done to balloon the cost of living of Canadians, to increase food bank use by 50% over 3 years, to send 1/4 of all young people to the food bank in 3 months alone, 1/4 of all Canadians skipping meals because they cannot afford a home, a 38% increase in homelessness since 2019. 50 new homeless encampments in Toronto, now a total of 256 of them in the biggest city in the country. Why is it that the more they spend, the more Canadians hurt?
Here, here, here. the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we will take no lessons from the Conservatives when it comes to supporting the most vulnerable Canadians. The fact is, when we formed government and when they left government, the poverty rate in Canada was 14.5%. It is now 9.9%. The Canada Child Benefit has lifted hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty. The GIS helps 900,000 seniors. The only thing they know how to do is cut, cut, cut. Tory times are hard times, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
We know how to cut taxes, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we reduced poverty and had affordable homes 9 years ago when common sense Conservatives were in government. Since that time, housing costs have doubled, mortgage payments have doubled, rent has doubled. The number of homeless encampments in Canada is up by hundreds of percent. We now have 1 in 4 Canadians skipping meals because they can't afford the cost of food. Will the government finally stop the policies that make Canadians poor, get off the backs of the working people, and let Canadians keep their homes?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we know what the Conservatives really believe and what they really do. When this leader was in government, how many homes did he actually get built? 6, Mr. Speaker. Just 6 homes. We know what Conservatives do to programs that support the most vulnerable. Cut, cut, cut. We have put forward a national school food program, a dental care program, national early learning and child care. They want to cut those programs. We won't let them, Mr. Speaker.